Hi there, sister. So it's not about the chip, okay? I don't think people understand. It is about the agreement that you've accepted through accepting the Real ID. So this goes to the 2005 Real ID Act. And sometime, if I have time, I should probably print off that act. I need to do a live so maybe people can pick my brain a little bit. But, and possibly read through that act on a live, because there's some legalese. I don't think that it could be difficult for people to understand. And there's also a component that most Americans are very ignorant to, concerning the status of being a United States citizen. The United States, by law, is contained within Washington, D.C. That's it. Okay? The United States is a corporate entity that resides within Washington, D.C. So if you were not born within the boundaries of Washington, D.C., you are technically an alien to the United States, unless you've contracted under their jurisdiction, which really isn't a great thing. Yeah, there's a lot of legal components. And if you guys have been studying the things that I've been pointing you to, guiding you to for the last 3 years, this would make a lot more sense, okay? But the passport is a completely different program. And when folks fill out their passport application, that is a chance for you to claim your American national status, also known as a non-citizen national status. A non-citizen of what? The United States. And I know you all think that's a bad thing, huh? Or many of you do, because we've been very brainwashed. But essentially what it's doing is it's claiming your birthright on American soil. So it moves you into an American national status, a right to the land, to be on the land. Whereas United States citizen status moves you under the jurisdiction of the corporation of the United States government. In return for the privileges that the United States government is supposed to offer you, however, the majority of those so-called privileges you still maintain as an American national. But when you fill out your DS-11 for your passport, you have to fill it out because the whole application is using legalese. So you have to kind of fill it out in a specific way, and you have to return it with an affidavit of truth. And you need to put in some components of law in that affidavit of truth. And you have to pledge allegiance to the United States government, which basically just means you're not an adversary of the United States government. You don't mean any harm to the United States government. You're simply claiming your birthright on the land. So the passport is just a superior form of documentation. The Real ID is entering you into a whole other program that is through the Department of Homeland Security and a branch of the Patriot Act. If you folks don't know what the Patriot Act was, well, you need to do some reading, folks. And as I've encouraged, every time I speak on this issue, you need to, y'all got Google, Google the Real ID Act of 2005. Read through it. You are forfeiting certain constitutionally guaranteed rights by accepting that, and you are placing your biometric data within a statewide database. Your facial recognition. Okay, that doesn't sound like a big deal right now, because folks don't understand how this ties into Project Stargate, the surveillance state that's being ushered in, cameras that are going up all over, if you folks are paying attention, this golden dome that had Trump says will be done within 3 years. And the fact that the United States government now wants to make it law that the states and the federal government will have no jurisdiction, no power to regulate AI in any way. AI that is all privately owned, by the way. You've got private, corporate, oligarch billionaires. Names you never hear. Mega wealthy people that stay in the shadows. Folks, do you understand? That is the United States government consenting to forfeit their jurisdiction, their ability to govern, to the power of AI, which is privately owned. No power to regulate it. And this is after over 40,000 federal employees have been removed from your governing body and replaced with AI agents. The human factor of your government is being removed and replaced with AI. AI that now they're consenting, submitting to give up their power to even regulate it in any way to protect the public. And accepting that Real ID is you consenting into that system. All right? There are already drones giving people traffic tickets. It's not a coincidence that this stuff is starting now. Now, what a lot of you folks might not know is that, you know, these red light cameras and these speed limit cameras, for example, none of those things are constitutional. Okay? There's been court cases ruling them unconstitutional. Nobody's ever had to pay those tickets, and I'm speaking from experience. Through the years, I've gotten a couple of those. I've never paid them. You do not have to. Okay? I don't care what kind of lies and bullying tactics that they attempt to use. It is unconstitutional. Courts have ruled it unconstitutional. You've never had to pay them. But because of the blind consent and ignorance of the general public, they've just stayed up as a method of literal extortion via your states. And it's unconstitutional because you have a right to meet your accuser, and there's no real evidence that that is you driving your vehicle, okay? They're sending you a still picture of a license plate. That doesn't prove anything, and that's why those were ruled as unconstitutional. Well, now, thanks to the surveillance state, and because people have consented into a completely different system with this Real ID, you forfeited your right to judicial review. That's one of the constitutionally guaranteed rights that people have forfeited by blindly complying and accepting a Real ID, which is not a driver's license. Okay? Words have meaning in law. Real ID is a Real ID. Driver's license is a driver's license. And the last time I checked, every statute within your states requiring you to have a driver's license for the privilege of driving, in those statutes, it states driver's license. It doesn't state a Real ID. So all of your states have to continue to offer a driver's license, a normal driver's license. This is all a choice. They need your compliance. There is no governmental entity that can force you to forfeit your constitutionally guaranteed rights, or they forfeit their ability to govern. They forfeit any power that the Constitution grants them if they attempt to force you to forfeit your constitutional rights. Okay, there's legal components here. And this whole thing is not difficult to argue at all. So they need blind compliance. And I just, folks are very ignorant of what they're accepting and entering themselves into, because now any type of camera system can 100% punish you. And they make the laws. The laws can change at any time. They can also, with the Real ID Act, it deals a lot with terrorism. Okay? So at any point, if you view something or say something on your online activity that they consider T activity, the entire national camera systems can find your location in real time, and you can be arrested without trial. So it's a big deal, sis.